Anastas Michos is the director of photography for Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities. I'm Matt Noble at Gold Derby, and I wanted to start off by asking you, Anastas, what was the biggest challenge for you in approaching this series?
Oh, biggest challenge in the series. Well, like any series, it's time versus money. My director is very ambitious and to accomplish it. The production, our producer, Miles, did an amazing job. And so did our production designer, who actually had far more challenges than we did because she was doing 6 separate episodes that had nothing to do with each other. So unlike a traditional series that takes place within a thread, our thread was there was no visual thread, and with 6 directors and I think there was 4 DPs. Yeah. So, but other than that, building the mine, shooting the mine, I guess had its own idiosyncratic ways of doing things, but we managed to pull it off.
Hmm. And you got a ASC nomination for the autopsy episode. Do you want to say maybe what was your favorite shot in that episode?
I think particularly with the short format, the setting of tone is incredibly important. And in this format, which are 6 separate pieces, it's not as though the pilot sets the tone and everybody tunes in. Each one was very different. And so I think it was less than about a favorite shot and very much more so about setting the tone in the first minute of credit sequence. And that was challenging. And our director, my director, David Pryor, is very much a visualist and has specificity of ideas in how camera moves and whatnot. So accomplishing those kinds of specific omnipresent camera moves, which is a camera move, the camera never moves unless it has intent. And trying to design that on location-based series. Yeah, that was challenging, but we pulled it off.
Yeah, and you said it's so important to establish the tone of your particular episode. How would you describe the tone of that autopsy episode?
Well, in the larger picture, it's a real existential question. Like most horror films or sci-fi, the good ones have an existential question that then gets explored through the genre.
Mm.
And in this particular piece, it's a story about a man knowing his own mortality, and then it being slowly undermined by an entity that is an unknown. And so that foreboding, both of your own mortality, and then the foreboding of knowledge is that possibly we are not alone in the universe. That was the visual tone to strike. So yeah.
That's cool. The show, like all installments of the show, comes under the umbrella of Guillermo del Toro and his sort of love for storytelling and vision. Like, how did your director and Guillermo's sort of storytelling sensibilities align, or how did they diverge? Like,
I think everybody took great pride in their divergence rather than aligning. Because I mean, obviously Guillermo wanted everything to align with his sensibilities. He would have hired directors that do that. So it was a wide range of directors of different kinds. I think that the most of the collaboration occurred in the development of the script, which David had a strong hand in, and also in editorial. But Guillermo left everybody far alone in terms of the way we wanted to shoot it and the palette that we shot it.
Mm.
But I have to be, very candid. In the back of my head, I did know that I was going to have Guillermo's name up first.
Mm.
So in the back of my head, you go, oh, well, this is also has to fit under the umbrella of a GDT kind of sort of sensibility. So in terms of color palette and whatnot, we nobody shied too far away from what that might have been accustomed to.
Yeah. So what do you think, like, just talking more broadly about cinematography, like as someone who's worked in the industry for a long time, what do you think, like, an important part, like in storytelling, what do you think cinematography brings to storytelling?
Oh, without us, it'd be radio.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, then.
Yeah, that was good.
No. Um, no, not to be flippant, but that
Yeah.
is, it is the genre called cinema,
Mm.
and cinema, by its very definition, is moving images which are juxtaposed against another moving images. So, what does it have to do with the filmmaking process? And the short answer is everything.
Mm.
Everything. You cannot have a film without an image. You can have a film without actors.
Mm.
It could be a narrative without actors. We see those all the time. We
Mm.
see wildlife films that animals have personalities only imbrued in them by the types of shots that were made. And there's characters that are, as we see in wildlife documentaries, that drama unfolds in front of us and story arc unfolds in front of us. We cut the little baby wildebeest, and then we cut back to the mean old tiger, lion, whatever. So yeah, so I think the short answer was, again, without us it'd be radio.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great way. I think a great place to end. So, Anastas, thank you so much for talking to us today. All the best of luck with the Emmy
Take care.
Awards for Guillermo del Toro's
Oh
Cabinet of
yeah, that'd be nice.
Curiosities.
Yeah. I
It'd be
think
so cool. Build
it'd
on
be
that.
so cool.
Build on that ASC nomination you had for the show, and all the best of luck. And thanks so much for the time today. I really appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much for chatting.